Hey
Hey
YouTubers,
YouTubers!
that is MJ. My name is Mark. We're going to be talking to you guys. You guys saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about Yamoshi and whether he is a Saiyan from Universe 6. I know that sounds really kind of crazy, but kind of just stay with us. So, you guys know I haven't, if you've been listening to my channel for a while, you guys know that I haven't been covering the Dragon Ball Super movie in any real way, shape, or form. I don't really know how to cover it other than just saying what they announced because they didn't give us a whole lot. Basically, the origin of the, Super Saiyan power or something, Goku and Vegeta's superpower, whatever. Yada, yada, yada. There's so many different ways that you can attach this or take this, like whether they're talking about Universe 7, Universe 6, or anything else like that. We did a video on MJ's channel, so I'm going to link it in the description section below when he decides to post it. I'm not sure where that's going to be, but I wanted to talk today about Yamoshi, the one thing that we got, the news that we got about the original Super Saiyan God and where he actually came from in Dragon Ball Super. And one thing I came up with is it possible, MJ, is it possible that Yamoshi is actually a Super Saiyan God from Universe 6 and not Universe 7? Now, wouldn't this go a long way? And manga Dragon Ball minus be dang, whatever. I'm not gonna swear right here. But just kind of brushing that under the rug, that doesn't really affect the overall scope of Dragon Ball Super. As we've seen throughout this entire series, the anime and the manga are on a different idea of what they want to portray, especially when you're coming onto a movie or the idea of characters in the past or anything else like that. Just to kind of preface this, Frieza in Dragon Ball Minus did kind of say that there was Super Saiyans and Super Saiyan Gods he was afraid of, but we're looking past that just for anyone who might want to comment that in the comment section below. But anyway, is it possible that Super Saiyan Gods, Yamoshi, and all of the other things that we've heard from of the Namekian Book of Legends and all that other stuff doesn't come from Universe 6? Kind of retroactively explaining why Vegeta doesn't know about it, why he's so well versed in all aspects of Saiyan mythology and society, but doesn't know about this one thing that seems to engulf the entire logic and history of Dragon Ball Super and just kind of put us on a different plane of power and everything else like that, because it really originated with Universe 6 and the Universe 6 Saiyans. And just to preface this, like I've said in a lot of my videos, the Battle of Gods arc and the Battle of Gods movie decided to interpret this and explain it in two different ways. The movie explained it as if six pure-hearted Saiyans went up against all the bad Saiyans on their Earth, but it ran out before he was able to actually take care of the whole situation. And then the movie just kind of talked about it being part of the Namekian Book of Legends and everything else like that. So there's a lot of different ways for them to go with this, whether they do this in the movie or anything else like that. But what are your thoughts on just all of that? Yamoshi being part of Universe 6, and that's why Vegeta doesn't know about it, and probably why Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale don't know about it as well.
What's interesting, and before I get into this, Dragon Ball Minus is trash. Let's point that out. But anyways, before I get into this, I want to point this out. I was talking to you about this, and what I find interesting, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is that when Toriyama mentioned this whole stuff, right, he starts it off with the whole very, very long ago, you know what I mean? Before Planet Vegeta was the Saiyan's planet. Now, pause. That's very interesting because he's not saying Planet Sadal, and we know in Universe 7 they migrated from Sadal to Planet Vegeta, but he's saying before Planet Vegeta was the Saiyan's planet. So, is he talking about the Tuffle planet that would eventually become the Saiyan's planet? And if that's the case, I just find that interesting because you would think this be taking place on Planet Sadal and not Planet Tuffle. And why is he saying long ago as if the Saiyans were living on Planet Tuffle for like years and years before they eventually took it? I don't know. I just find that interesting. But with that being said, that makes me think, and it puts like a wrench here. Is Toriyama really talking about Universe 7? Is he really talking about the Tuffle planet? Because we know that's the kind of story with Universe 7 and the backstory there, at least to our knowledge. So is he talking about something else? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of cool. What is he really talking about? And if he's throwing us for a loop here and he's actually talking about Universe 6, That's crazy. That would pop me. And we know the film is coming out in December 2018. It would be cool if that's the whole film. You know what I mean? Like we think they're in Universe 7. We think this is all cool. You know what I mean? And in fact, they're actually in Universe 6. I think that would be very cool. It's a very cool twist, and it would actually make me care about Yamoshi, because what I mentioned in the video we did on my channel about the film was that there's already stuff we've seen with Universe 7. You know, I mean, even though, episode of Bardock is not, I hate to use the word canon, but it's not a part of the official timeline. That's just a side story, a what if created, for, I guess, basically by a fan and stuff of Bardock. It's kind of like, we've seen the past, you know what I mean? We've seen the past in Heroes. We've seen the past in the special father of Goku. We've seen all this stuff. We already know the legends there. It would be cool to throw us for this loop, because I think we need something for Universe 6, and I think this could be it, at least in my opinion. What do you think?
I just think that it would open up the doors. So a lot of people think, and I think a movie right now, whether it's in between arc, main arc, something else like that. We know if we're getting a movie in December of 2018, if we can go through a quick arc before we get into the Planet Sidal arc, which they've been teasing for the last couple months now, the last couple years, really. I mean, they keep throwing that at our face, really. This would be a really good, I guess, introduction into it. Think about it, in January of 2019, Dragon Ball Super goes into the Planet Sidal arc or whatever of Dragon Ball Super, and the movie subtly hints of something a little bit shady, a little bit less than by the book, that would indicate the future of the Planet Sidal, just Planet Cell in general, or the arc in general, when it comes to Goku and Vegeta coming there with their powers of Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I just imagine Yamoshi being part of Universe 6 and taking his power. And as they said in the Battle of Gods movie, but more elaborating in this one, him taking that power, very rare at the time. All these Saiyans are really bad people. Becoming a Super Saiyan God, beating as much as he can, and then basically losing the power, but retaining the power, becoming stronger than he ever has been, in his own normal form, whether it's Super Saiyan or not, and then taking over in his own way, maybe even being lost in his power before he was able to be taken down, in the point where the Planet Sidal Saiyans are like, look, maybe it's important that we keep this away from our people, our soldiers, and everything else, that we have this ability. We have this ability to go Super Saiyan. We have this ability to go Super Saiyan God and everything else, because it only breeds more resentment. It would be really cool, like really awesome, if the hierarchy of Planet Sidal in Universe 6 thinks to themselves that if you go Super Saiyan God, even if you're pure-hearted, especially because you can only become Super Saiyan God if you're pure-hearted. That's one thing that's been consistent throughout the entirety of either the movies or the series in general. But going into it and saying they think that's true, but if you have that power for so long and you reign supreme over everyone for so long, that you will eventually become unpure of heart. And maybe that's how you slip into like a Super Saiyan Rosé or something else like that, to help explain like Dragon Ball Super's mythology and Zamasu, and also anything else like that. And that's what they want to take away from people. That's what they want to have people not really realize, that you can't do this stuff because we're pure of heart and we're trying to police our society to believe that they don't have this potential, they don't have this fighting power and everything else like that. So doing a movie about where does their power come from, where does the Super Saiyan God transformation come from, and it actually comes from Universe 6, and then have Goku and Vegeta potentially in the next arc right after that visit Universe 6 and upend all of the stuff that they introduced in the movie, so the movie still takes place in the same timeline of Dragon Ball Super. That'd be awesome. That would be epic. That would be the perfect way to introduce the Planet Sidal arc. Have Goku and Vegeta come in and just completely reshape that entire world as it is because of what they know and how pure their hearts are with the power that they have, and how they're just more focused on the family and potential fights and all this other stuff. They're not evil. They don't want to rule. Awesome. Especially with Vegeta, who his whole life thought that that's what he wanted and that's what he was entitled to, having changed his mind. That would be epic.
It would be cool because, okay, we do that film, right? Explains the, the backstory. We also did a video, like, on my channel, plugging it again, talking about how, sorry here, shameless plug, talking about all that stuff and how maybe there could be like a little mini conspiracy there, you know what I mean? Like a cover up of this stuff, and you were just, talking about that. It would be cool when we get to the little mini arc after this, feature full-length film. We get this stuff with Goku and they're on Planet Sidal in Universe 6, meeting up with their friends again, Kaba, Caulifla, and Kel, right? It would be cool. Maybe it's like a year later, or maybe it's post into Z. Who knows what happens and how long it is. But you have Caulifla now with the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, and she's showing Goku, like, throwing the punches and shit, like doing her boxing, like, look at me, right? I got this power now, and Goku's like, way to go. And then you have like Kaba, who went for he doesn't want Super Saiyan 3, he's just making his Super Saiyan 2 form stronger. So he's like throwing the shadow boxing with, Vegeta, right? And he's like, hey, good, you know what I mean? You did good. Kind of just like that. And then Caulifla asks, so what's the next one? I forget. Is it the red or blue? So then Goku goes red. And as soon as he does that, as soon as he goes red, you see the king like in his throne or talking to that. You just like see him like turn with this like worried look, and he runs like with his soldiers to see what that is. And it's like so funny because you see Caulifla and Kel and Kaba just like, hey, yo, that's dope. That's red. You know what I mean? That's Super Saiyan God. And Vegeta just like, scruffing, and Goku's like throwing his punches. You see the king and all these Saiyans come and they're just worried, and Goku's like, hi? What's the big deal? You know what I mean? Just unbeknown to why they're so worried. And again, we kind of dive into that, and there's so much they could do with the Universe 6 science, because they've been in, okay, you can hate the Universe 6 science, that's fine, but they've been built up. Ever since Kaba showed up, they've been built up. They've had potential. They learned how to use the Super Saiyan forms a lot. There was even like a little mini trailer before episode 100 where Kel fought Goku, depicting the science in general with a lot of emphasis on the Universe 6 Saiyans, a lot of emphasis on Kel and Caulifla specifically. And then it was mentioned all the way back in episode 30 that for some reason Caulifla has more potential than all the other Universe 6 Saiyans for whatever reason. There's so much you can do with the Yamoshi film and then going to the Planet Sidal arc that could make a lot of what we've seen in Super make sense. You know what I mean? Even if they don't want to throw it in our face, they could just kind of throw some stuff in there and hinting and implying, and that's where we come in and we put all the stuff together and go, okay, yeah, that makes this make a lot more sense. That makes this from the power make a lot more sense. That makes this make a lot more sense. You know what I mean? I think that would be really, really cool. Like, you could really go in depth. Now, this is crazy. This is really freaking crazy what I'm about to say here. You can actually go so far as to say that Caulifla was born. Like, you can, and this is funny because even though Kel is the homage to Broly, you flip it. You know what I mean? Kel has a very weak base. You know what I mean? She's not really like a fighter in her base form and all that stuff. You could flip it and say that Caulifla was born with such a high power level or battle power, and that she was like a legit monster. Like, she was a legit monster. And here's the thing. She already had the Super Saiyan 1-2 forms. And she was kind of like very crazy, you know what I mean? And you can do this stuff where you kind of make it seem that maybe she's the one who injured Renzo. And then maybe Renzo, like, the whole legend needs to end with him. So what they do is they basically, I guess, what's the word? They wipe her memory. They wipe her memory and they send her off and kind of take her out of the Sidal Force. And that could be kind of hinted to why Kaba knows who she is. He doesn't know about the Super Saiyan form, and he doesn't know that she had it, but he knows how she is and how crazy she is and what kind of like inconvenience she was to Renzo. And that kind of explains the Renzo backstory. That explains why she's so strong. So her determinant of power, which is Goku kind of helping her untap that power. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying you can go you can go real crazy with it. That's all I'm saying.
So it's nothing that like she didn't have before, but it's just something that she learned to reawaken or something.
Reawaken. Like I said, you can go crazy with it. There's a lot of lore you can explain there with Caulifla and specifically Renzo, and then with the conspiracy, of all that stuff. Why don't these Saiyans know about Super Saiyan? Because even though the whole point is that, oh, they just had strong bases. That's fine, and I understand that, but it's still weird that they've trained for so many years, and we're talking potentially years upon years, decades, maybe even centuries, and they don't know about the Super Saiyan transformation, at least the first one. It's like you would think that they would know something about it. So again, the Yamoshi film, and then kind of tying it in with Universe 6, and then kind of exploring the lore of Universe 6, heading into the Planets of Doll arc. If we do get that, that's cool. That would make a lot of sense in my opinion.
The Yamoshi film heading into the Planets of Doll arc, also tying in the whole concept of Frost and Frieza's differences and similarities, where, I mean, to me, I think Frost would be a great way. I know they erased him, but this would be a really great way to bring him back and to bring the whole concept of him being kind of not really the most savory person ever. I mean, he's really a mean guy who is selfish and just like Frieza, but has this air about him where he's a good guy. To me, that really kind of shows that at least it's possible to sit there and argue that the Saiyans of Universe 6 aren't really what they seem and how they actually really interact with people. So what Kaba, Kefla, or Akaba, Khalifla, or Kale might think of their race and what they do and all this other stuff might be undertoned by and also what Kaba might think about the King of Saiyans might be just underscored by the idea that maybe they aren't that good. Maybe they do know about the strength of the Saiyans and they're trying to keep it under wraps. Maybe they go through atrocious things like wiping people's memories, or maybe even something like rehashing the whole concept of the whole legendary Super Saiyan Broly arc movie, where it's like maybe they do execute people for being way too strong at birth. Is like, okay, Saiyans are way too powerful. If we don't keep it under control, someone's gonna rise up and take all of us out, because they have this idea, which all brings back to Yamoshi with what they said in the Battle of Gods movie. Came up very hard to find so many pure-hearted Saiyans, at least at that time, rising up and beating all of the Azarus and all the evil Saiyans at that time. Maybe they're scared that if they allow one person to rise up in power, then that's going to mean the end of their peaceful existence as well. So they're doing the best they can to keep peaceful reign over so many generations of Saiyans, but it comes across, especially when Goku and Vegeta show up, as a little bit morbid, a little bit, this is what you do, this is terrible. You hamper your own species' power, and you disgrace the ability of the Saiyan people, and yada yada yada. I mean, I can imagine that being a completely compelling thing for not only Goku, but especially Vegeta to fight for in some potential Planets of Doll arc. And if they make a movie about Yamoshi and the original Super Saiyan God, it would be great to have it pretend almost the entire time that it's in Universe 6 until there's something, just something, that gives it away that it's Universe 6. Universe 7, but Universe 6, the very, very, very end,
No, yeah, I completely agree. And I think what's cool about this is the interactions that we could possibly... I know we kind of got a bit off topic because it's supposed to be about the Yamoshi stuff, but we kind of centered it more about Caulifla, Kaba, and Kale with Goku and Vegeta. But what's cool is that throughout the progression, if this is a big even if we get that Planets of Doll arc and it ties in with the Yamoshi stuff, it would be cool to kind of get the king, the Planets of Doll, his view and his perspective of the world and his perspective of the science, his own race, versus Vegeta, who should technically be the king, I guess. I guess probably not. People want to see him as a king, but he's still a prince, I guess. Kind of see his view and perspective collide with that, because it's like the king who maybe secretly has ordered that stuff to happen, you know what I mean? Depending on how big you want to go with the conspiracy here and why they don't know about the Super Saiyan God or even the Super Saiyan. So what you can do there is have that collide with Vegeta, and Vegeta pretty much say, you're no Saiyan. because we have no limits. We progress and we make ourselves better. You want to stop that. You're not us. You know what I mean? That would be kind of like a cool way to tie into there, and it would change Cabba's views. Per Cabba, bro, he's been thrown for a loop this whole this whole show. First with Frost, and then now this. If that were to happen, that'd just be funny. But you can go that route and tie in these characters and their perspectives and viewpoints on the world. And of course you have Goku there just being Goku. He's there to fight, you know what I mean? And you have like, call it for the same way, she's just there to fight, stuff like that. But it would be cool to connect that, and you can really go into the lore, and I think that's what people really want, even though, like I said before, with the whole Universe 7 stuff, I'd rather see it more focused on Universe 6, because we've already seen the past of Universe 7 with Bardock, Frieza, and even episode of Bardock, and to some extent, even though it's trash minus, it would be cool to dive into Universe 6 there with Vegeta kind of just being there as the outlier to it, you know what I mean? Because he was raised differently and he sees the world differently. The same with Goku,
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I would like to see it be set in Universe 6, even if we weren't really aware about that at the time that they're actually showing it to us, maybe later down the line, or maybe even just retroactively in an arc somewhere, just establish that, yeah, that was happening in Universe 6. I mean, I don't really care where it happens as long as it actually does. Just because, like you said, we know a lot more about the history of Universe 7 Saiyans than we actually do about Universe 6, and we need to explore Universe 6 a little bit more, considering they are the ones with the thriving culture as opposed to Universe 7. So, guys, with that being said, I want everyone to go down to the description section below and hit that link. Go subscribe to MJ. The guy makes some awesome daily Dragon Ball Super content. You're not going to want to miss any of that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions about this subject in particular. Don't forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button. That's going to notify you every single time I upload. But with that being said, guys, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. It's been real.